Welcome to the Warrior Ways. I'm Addison Boggs here with head softball coach Clay Ardeseser. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
So what brought you to SWU?
So kind of just a God thing for me was starting off kind of coaching in high school after I got done playing and just really wasn't loving it, wasn't really what I thought I was called to do. So spent about 5 to 6 years in the high school ranks in the state of Georgia where I'm from. I was doing softball, baseball, kind of mixing it up, and I went through various teaching jobs of ISS coordinator, special education, health and PE, you name it, I kind of did it, and just one day it kind of hit me. I was like, I just am not in the right spot. I just wanted God to kind of lead me, in the right path, and so ended up looking for jobs, getting to college and coaching, and he kind of opened up a path for me to go be a graduate assistant baseball coach at Belhaven University in Mississippi, and did that for 2 years. Got my master's paid for. It was awesome, and then the last year I was fortunate enough to get the head assistant job there, and so spent 3 years there. I met the love of my life there, my wife, and she was doing softball at the time, and so she moved, closer here. She was coaching at Piedmont College last year, which is a school in Georgia, and we were engaged through that process. And so I knew I wanted to get back closer to home to Georgia, and so she was like, "Would you, be interested in going back to softball?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe, I don't know." And then just kind of did some thinking, some just dives into the Word to see what is this something that I'm willing to do, that God's calling me to do. And so I was like, I'll put a couple feelers out. Had some interviews for some jobs, put out some resumes, and got a call back from SWU, and came up here, and I fell in love with the place. Loved the people. They were great. All the players that I met through a Zoom call, they were awesome, and just wanted somebody to love them and somebody to care for them. And so ended up taking the job here, and my wife came on with me as assistant, and so we've been here since about mid-July, and we've been loving it ever since. So it's kind of a God thing that kind of pushed me this way, but really moving through high school all the way up to college, and then switching sports again, and so it's been a little bit of a whirlwind, but it's been awesome. So
That's awesome, and I didn't know that your wife was your assistant coach.
Yep.
So that's really neat. What are you looking forward to in this season at SWU?
Really just we wanted to build a culture up this year, get it right. I wanted to. We only had 4 returners, so really for us over the course of a month and a half before school started, we had to get enough players to play, and I wanted to make sure we got the right fit. I could go get a lot of really, really talented players, but they might not have been the right fit, and then we're dealing with culture issues and all that kind of stuff, and I wanted to make sure that we built it the right way, going forward here. So we felt like we got some really, really talented players, but also really good fits for our program this year. And then moving forward, we have 15 kids coming in next year to kind of really build up the base of our program. I couldn't be happier, for what's to come for this year for our girls. I really hope that we can make conference tournament. We can have a good run this year because they deserve it. They've worked their tails off, and so I want to just keep pouring into them and giving them as much as I can because they give it every day 100%. And that's really, like I said, that goes back to the culture of having them, when we have practice, they're setting things up before I even get out there. I don't even have to go out there and worry about, are my players bought in? Are they here today? Are they not? Where's their mind at? Every day they're there to work and get better. So we have, little things where we'll have team bonding events. They came over to our house for Christmas, and we had like a little, Christmas get together, exchange gifts, that sort of thing. And so we want to do as much as we can with them and build that bond, to kind of strengthen us throughout the season. So that was really kind of what, I expect is for us to be, bonded throughout the year, have a good culture, and have a good season this year. So, and not just wins and losses, but just good season as far as everybody, being bought into the same goals. for the year.
That's really neat, and I like how y'all are sort of like a family in the way you implement your team bonding. How do you think you're going to bring God into the team this year?
Well, we've already kind of started to try and do that. I know on the road trips, we're going to do small groups that my wife will lead it, kind of through God stuff, but also like empowering women, kind of trying to find a good spot to combine the two. So I feel like that's a lot of me doing male sports and female sports. Kind of one of the big main differences is the guys' sports. You don't have to worry about them, being positive and having, because they have big egos. Most guys are like, yeah, I'm the best, best player out here. I'm the best person in the world. Blah blah blah. For the girls, it's like, they're the hardest critic on themselves. So we really want to, promote a good positive, atmosphere, and I think the word, does that. And if you can dive into it and kind of correlate it back to real life, instances, that helps out a lot with our generation of kids nowadays. So, we'll do that. We pray after every practice and any kind of thing we do. Always ask for prayer requests. I make them lead the prayer, so somebody has to take it every day. Which after a while they're like, "Oh, coach, I don't want to do it again," but they got to do it again. So yeah, we do that. Any kind of bonding activities we do, we try to kind of incorporate God through those. Really just want them to see how we treat each other as a couple, and kind of let God kind of speak through us and our actions more so than us just like, here's this Bible verse, read this and memorize it, because that for me has just never been a great policy. To get people closer to God, just forcing it down their throat. If they can see how we lead each other, how we treat each other as a couple and their coaches, and that we're real people, that goes a long way with kind of incorporating God into everything we do. So.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome, especially coming from a female athlete's perspective, seeing how you treat your wife and how your wife treats you as an example, instead of just trying to shove the Bible down your throat. I relate really, really well to that, and I think a lot of female athletes do, especially how you were mentioning, the guy aspect. They just have a big head anyway.
Yes,
they don't need all that.
Yep.
But as women, we beat ourselves up, and we don't ever think like we may have had an awesome play, but we could have done something better. And so I really appreciate what y'all are doing. And lastly, what are you looking for in your first game with your team?
I'm looking for a lot of passion. I know the girls are itching to get to play somebody else other than themselves. So last time we've played outside competition was back in October, I think it was, or late September. So it's been a while since we played somebody, and I know they're ready to play. I just want to see us play, like I said, with a lot of passion, a lot of effort, intensity. If you make a mistake, at least do it, going 110%, rather than, going out there and going through the motion. So play for one another. And we're really, team goals this year, really trying to make the conference tournament. They didn't make it last year. And it's the first time in a while they hadn't made it. So that's, if you make conference tournament, you give yourself a chance. And so that's, our main goals. So really come out there, and we have 14 girls on the roster, and everybody's going to play at some point. And so I want to see everybody, when they get their chances, to do the best they can. So that's all I care. That's all I ask for. I know their talent levels. I see it every day. And so, if I put them out there, I trust them. So I've told them, that you got to trust yourself, that I trust you to go out there and do the best job you can. So, so that's kind of, what I expect out of them. I don't necessarily expect wins or losses or stuff like that. I just want to see, good, hard softball, and playing together for your teammates. So that's all I care about.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming in here today and sharing all that with us. We've really enjoyed having you.
No doubt.